Hello and welcome back, not only to the people watching and listening, but also to Nick.
Hello.
He is back from the Miami Grand Prix, which we are going to break down today. How was the trip? How was it?
Dude, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So I just put out, as we're speaking, a little short episode talking about my specific while I'm there experiences, not about the race, but it was better than I thought it was going to be.
That's awesome.
I saw some people online saying that F1 races aren't good to go to in person, and they're so wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got super lucky with where I sat. I planned it out to sit at a corner that I thought overtaking would happen.
Yeah.
And 90% of the overtakes happened.
Heck yeah.
It was awesome.
Oh
so
yeah.
I sat turn 11, and also with that said, I've promised Dawson something via video that I have brought with me. So here we go.
I'm very excited for this. I know what it is, and I've been looking forward to it.
It's a very, for the audio listeners, it's a very nice hat, I have to say.
I get to swap it out.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually for it being
I actually
free,
really like this.
it's a nice, it's the logo is on the front is rubber. It's nice.
Oh yeah.
So I sat in the Red Bull fan section, which turned out to just be a Checo. If it's good.
Oh nice.
It
is a nice hat.
It turned out to just be a Checo fan section, which I didn't know to the end of the race when
really?
Everybody was booing Max.
Oh man.
They're all wearing regular Red Bulls. I mean, there's some 11 hats and stuff here and there, but it's mostly just Red Bull shirts.
Yeah.
And they're booing Max. And I was just we can all unite on something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that I prefer. Okay, I do prefer Checo over Max, but
What, you do?
yeah, I've told you that.
Oh, so it's official.
Well, yeah.
So do we need to put a 1 on your hat?
Oh yeah,
next
no,
to
yeah,
it?
we do. I
We
need to
get a
I need to
paper
get a
one.
red Sharpie and just put another
Yeah,
one.
that
right
hat
there.
looks good, man.
It is, yeah, I really like this hat actually. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I can't. So the shirt, it doesn't even fit me. So it's
once I saw you holding it, I was like,
yeah, it's small,
big guy,
and I
that's
wanted
not
to keep.
gonna fit.
I wanted to keep the seat because
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
kind of nice. So yeah, it was super cool. But it was also an emotional roller coaster weekend for a Mercedes fan.
Oh man.
So
I was on an emotional roller coaster watching Mercedes this race.
Yeah. If you just look at the race result, you're like, what's the big deal? It's not that bad.
Yeah.
But
If you'd see the mid race,
oh
it
man.
was yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do quali in 60 real fast, then we can get into it. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's just start right off the bat and say hometown boy Logan Sargent finished P20 and had just an absolutely terrible weekend. Almost as bad as McLaren's weekend, who went P16, P19. Lance Stroll randomly went P18 for some reason. He had a terrible race pace the whole weekend. Yuki P17 and De Vries P15. That's the bottom 6. Zhou Guanyu 14. That's pretty decent. Lewis Hamilton P13. Ouch, that sucked. He was out in Q2. Nico Hulkenberg P12 beat Lewis Hamilton. Alex Albon P11 beat Lewis Hamilton, and Valtteri Bottas found himself back in Q3 ahead of Max Verstappen, who didn't get to do his final run and blew his first run because Charles Leclerc hit the wall and thus kept the rest of this locked from the first run of Q3, which was George Russell P6, Pierre Gasly P5, K-Mag P4, Sainz P3, Fernando Alonso P2, and Sergio Perez P1. Woo! I was almost that time.
Dude, just the whole time I was just imagining what if you did that right after qualies at the race, you just turn around and you're like, here's a quali in 60.
I was going to. Okay, so I have a story.
Okay.
I was going to, but my dad was so angry that I could not record audio in that moment.
Oh no. Because of Leclerc?
Yes, because so I hope he doesn't listen, it's fine. My mom will tell him. Mom don't tell him. So he in practice 3, was it practice 3? No, he crashed on practice 2.
Mm-hmm.
Leclerc crashes, and my dad starts yelling at you, "Screw you, Leclerc," because he's mad because he stole time from us, right? Because we're paying to see all this stuff, and he said he's just my dad looked at me, he goes, he's just practicing for when he crashes in qualifying after getting an initial pole.
Oh my.
And then the man, he starts on his flying lap, and I'm just like, don't crash. Because my dad, I can see it in his eyes.
Mhm.
The like, and I'm like, and he crashes in the same spot that he does the day before. Now, it didn't help him,
Yeah.
but my dad was so mad. And my favorite thing that he said, so first, one of the things he yells, there's Ferrari fans around, by the way.
Yeah.
The first thing he says was, Leclerc, I hope you never win Monaco.
Oh God.
Then he says, Leclerc, I hope you crash into your second grade classroom. Which I thought was so funny. I know. He was
no
bad.
chill.
There's worse things he said, but
I'm sure.
Yeah, because at that point we lost all of our last runs that we got to see in qualifying.
Yeah.
But see, I saw it as like oh my gosh, I saw this crazy thing happen.
Mhm.
But my dad was really looking forward to it, and he was like, "It's not about Max. It's not about Max." I was like, "Yeah, right." But I told him, I was like, "Listen to me. This is gonna make for a better race." Because everything's all screwed up. Lewis is in 13th. Max is in 9th. Leclerc's not in the quite right spot, I thought. Gasly's high. K-Mag's high. Like, I was like, this is going to be... He wasn't here. So it took until the next day for us to get to it. So.
Is your dad more of a Max fan?
Yeah.
By far?
I mean, he's
Or
pulling
just
for
kinda
both.
like...
But, I mean, he has Max Verstappen World Champ merch that I bought him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've still bought to this day. I've given more money to Red Bull out of my own pocket.
Then you have Mercedes?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I've been gifted stuff.
Yeah.
So, and the one other thing I said I'm going to tell you about because I want your take on it.
Okay.
There's like lots of other stuff I could tell you, but like it's because it was a temporary circuit. It's kind of like, have you ever been to a golf tournament by any chance?
No.
Okay.
Dude, my first time watching golf actually was this past weekend.
Okay, well, my dad's super into golf, so I'm into golf. So it's
I'm
kind
getting
of
into golf.
it's kind of like it's kind of like a mix of a golf tournament and a state fair, where it's like everything is really temporary. There's like fake grass everywhere where you're walking. It was weird, but dude, I walked so much. Oh my gosh! So that they made us park a mile and a half away, but that was our assigned parking space. So in like this dirt lot, it was like you could tell like, okay, this is not a normal circuit because they don't have like parking space. So I'm interested to see how it'll contrast when I go to a real track.
Okay.
So, and then the story I wanted to tell you, which I told I'll tell the abbreviated version. So basically, every store was just F1 store there. So like they didn't have like a Mercedes, like Mercedes' team is selling stuff. Everything was marked up so much.
Oh, I bet.
So a regular Mercedes hat costs $55. There's often sales that bring them down to $35 on the store. I almost bought one, but I was waiting to go. They had it for $90 for a hat. It wasn't just Mercedes either. It's just what I was looking at. So like, and most of the shirts and stuff were like around the same price, maybe at most $5 or $10 more.
Yeah.
But $90 for a hat, who
That's
would buy
insane.
it? And people weren't buying it. And then they go and give me this hat for free.
Oh yeah.
Which is like, and they gave. I mean, my parents both got one. I would say probably 3,000 people. They all got the kit that I got. That's how many people were sitting in my section. If I had to guess,
everybody got a kit.
Everybody in the Red Bull fan section got a kit. Yeah, and I would say it's
Wow.
about 3,000 people. If I had to guess,
Jeez.
maybe I might be guessing high. It was a lot of people though,
Dang.
and you had to like it was like no one else was getting it. Like we had to go scan our tickets.
Tell me this though. Okay, so you're going to Silverstone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just bought my plane ticket.
Where are you sitting?
I am sitting on the first corner, which is called Abbey.
Yeah.
And I believe because I'm sitting on the Lewis Hamilton straight, I will be in the Mercedes fan section.
Oh, I was
so
about to say, because if you get a kit there, dude, you will be the most happy.
I know. And I just want to let you know that I'm a good friend because I saw these going online for over $100. So I'm giving you the hat.
Wow.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. Now I'm going to go sell it myself.
Hey, Nick, I bought a Mercedes hat for $90. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's just talk about the race, which was what'd you think of the race overall?
I actually thought this one was, or at least in like the first like 3/4 of the race was actually pretty interesting. There was a lot of stuff that like I was not ready for.
I personally biased. So we went home and watched it after, and I don't feel like I missed anything. First of all, which was kind of surprising.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about how was like the viewing outside of like your turn. Like, did you tell what was going on?
You could see. There's a few things I missed, but I got good. I like was learning in practice. If I watch on the screen until I see a certain thing that I know is over there, and then I turn, it's like, oh, you just watch this piece of it.
Okay, cool.
So I felt now I couldn't hear Crofty. That sucks. So I couldn't hear like that kind of stuff. But I was also getting on my phone some too. So
I was trying so hard to find you, like because they did a crowd shot.
They never showed us.
And I was trying so hard to see like, oh, is this the turn?
So I felt good about it. But I was gonna say biased. I think this is the best race of the season so far. I thought it was really exciting. So
it was a good race. I was like interested like the entire time. Like it was never like, okay, like let's have something happen. It was pretty good.
So the two most impressive things to me at being there is seeing how far ahead Checo was. Like, you see the time and on TV, but it's like I would see Checo, and there's a bridge blocking part of my view of the whole straight. It's like there's Checo, and there's Alonso. Like it's like
it's a big gap,
and then Max just blew me away. Like I was just like, I can't hate on this performance. Yeah.
It was amazing, especially. I'll get into it when we talk about the teams.
Well, go ahead. Let's talk about Red Bull.
So obviously Max won. Started at P9, and I just expect to win from if he's like even like P12 or something. I'm just like he'll get there. It'll take him. However, it took him longer. Or no. This is like one of the quickest though. I feel like he's gotten forward.
Well, that and they what was Christian Horner was saying something on the broadcast. I can't remember, but he was like, we expect him to be in striking distance within.
Yeah, it was like 12 laps.
Yeah, at 12 laps to go, and it was like 20 or something. I can't remember the exact number.
So yeah, Checo was in P1 until lap 48, which Checo still had an amazing race. Like Nick said, he held a great gap to Fernando. But I mean, Max he put on a show. Like on the broadcast, we were watching. I actually watched the F1 TV one this time, and I'm glad I did because when he made the huge overtake on Leclerc and Magnussen, they said say goodbye to the Red Bulls or to the Red Bull, and I was like, "Good job, Max. Good job." Like it was.
So I got to watch him set that up because he started setting it up in my corner, and I looked at my dad and I said, "On the main straight, he's going to take him, both of them." My dad was like, "Both of them?" I was like, "Trust me," and then he did it.
It was amazing, but yeah, I mean. For Red Bull, it's a perfect race. I mean, Checo held the lead for him, and then obviously they fought, but Max, just overtook Checo, and then also what was it? I literally just had it in my brain and I completely forgot. So if I remember it, I'll come back to it. But I was very happy this race as a Red Bull fan watching Checo not only hold that lead and get that much of a gap, but also seeing Max do, like I said, put on a show. That was freaking amazing.
I wanted to see Checo win really bad.
I did too. I was hopeful, around lap 40. I forgot when.
I think he boxed at 44 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Until then, I was like
45. He boxed on 45. I remember. So
yeah. Once he boxed, I was like, over. Yeah.
I think I don't think Red Bull screwed him. I just think everybody was starting on mediums at the front. Checo had to start on mediums basically.
Yeah.
They didn't realize the hard tire was going to be as good as it was. That was it. I mean, Checo being on the opposite strategy was just the wrong strategy.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, for Red Bull, they're just happy because it's a 1-2 and Max got fastest lap. So,
and Checo seemed happy. Like they were like,
yeah. I
was wondering. I think it's just they're just having fun. They're like, we know we've already won the constructors, so it's like whatever. So
yeah.
I guess we'll go on to Mercedes. So
I want to talk about this.
So obviously Lewis had a terrible qualifying, and both their qualifyings were great.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand why, but Lewis Hamilton put on a freaking show for me. Other than that, though,
yeah,
I think he had the second best race other than Max. And I know I'm biased, but I just think P13 to P6 is pretty good.
Oh yeah.
So I watched him. The coolest thing about this race for me personally was I watched him figure out where the zone, the overtake was. It took him like half the race to get by Albon.
Yeah.
And I was watching him make moves, and then he figures it out and does it for the first time right in front of me.
Oh.
And he goes to the left, the inside of Albon, where he like fools him into think he's gone to the outside.
Yeah.
I've like watched him like practice this move over like 20 laps or so.
Yeah.
And then it's like bang, bang, bang. He starts knocking him out.
Yeah, it gets everybody.
And then he goes and he pits, and then he has to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, yes, it was so awesome.
Yeah.
So he ended up picking my turn to be the turn he made the overtakes. And I was like, yes, Lewis.
That's awesome.
So I was like screaming and jumping up and down. I'm like, there's like out of the 1,000 Red Bull fans, there's like 5 Mercedes fans.
Yeah.
But we're all like screaming when he does it. So
I can only imagine.
So yeah, what did you think about Mercedes' race?
I was ecstatic for you.
Yeah.
Because I knew how excited he was. When I saw it, I was like, I can only imagine he's just screaming in a crowd of Red Bulls.
Yeah.
I like this is like you. I agree with you. If the second best race came from Hamilton, I think
You could just tell them driving they're the two best. Like you could just see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like unbiased, a legitimate. I'm throwing Max on this too.
I'm saying I agree with you.
Yeah. So they're, I think the 4 greatest F1 drivers ever are Schumacher, Senna, Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton, and we're just lucky to have 2 of them at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
So, not in that order though.
we obviously know you're number 1.
Russell had a decent qualifying, great drive. Lewis let him by. P4 finish. Mercedes made some points up on Aston Martin, which was important to me. Thanks, Stroll, for having a bad race, despite the fact that you're one of my drivers in our competition. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. Mercedes is apparently bringing 50% of a new car to this next race. Yep. New side pods, new floor, new suspension. I can't remember. So it might be worse. I'm prepared for it to be worse. No, it's okay because like they know they gotta like,
they're testing. For
So
next
if
year.
it's worse, it's okay. But I'm just glad there's gonna be a change. So, but clearly they're either really good at getting their tires in the right range or something because they are way better than Ferrari. So tell me about Sainz's race.
Yeah. So he held P3 for a while in the race, which I thought was pretty good. Because normally like Sainz he ended up where I expect him to. Yeah. But he lost P3 to Verstappen on lap 14. Also had a penalty for speeding in the pits. Just locked up while coming in and got right past the line.
And Lewis finished 9 seconds behind him. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Like I was yelling. I was like, Lewis, drive faster.
So got that 5-second penalty. Ended up still having a good race. Finished P5. So Ferrari's still happy at least for him.
Yeah. Leclerc, P7, crashed at qualifying. I think this is a bad weekend for Ferrari, honestly. Yeah. I think they're clearly slower than Mercedes and obviously Red Bull, but Mercedes and Aston Martin, I think. Aston's supposed to bring updates to Imola as well, their first updates. So Ferrari quoted a 1.1 second. They got 0.1 second upgrade, but Red Bull brought 0.2 second upgrade. So nothing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And people are pointing out that Leclerc crashed in a very similar way to Sainz did a couple weeks ago or spun out. So they think there's some issues. I don't know, but it's not. Leclerc, I think, deserves some criticism for pushing the car too much, just because they need to learn what to fix, and crashing it is not helping. So, especially with a brand new floor, which he broke. So, yeah, I would say bad weekend for them. So how about Alonso?
Aston got a mixed weekend.
Yeah.
Ferrari got the bad, Red Bull got the good, and Aston Martin got a mixed one.
Yeah.
Fernando starts or as I said, he ended the streak of P3 last time, but he brought it back this time, so he was able to hold podium position the entire race, which is really good for Aston. I think that's like a good. I know Lance, didn't really do too well, at least in qualifying, and the race wasn't terrible, but I think that's a good sign for Aston. I think that if they can hold it together for this year, I mean,
They could be a force to be reckoned with.
yeah, within the coming years, like I feel like that's going to be a good team to be following.
Yeah, I have no idea who's going to finish second. I think it's either Mercedes or Aston if I had to guess, but it's really anybody's game right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I've never been like the biggest Alonso fan. Like I don't hate him. I just don't really care as much as other people. But I have to admit, seeing how happy he is when he gets in the car and starts running, like.
Dude is turning into a social media icon as well. It's amazing.
Okay, all right. Everybody's talked about it, so we got to talk about it. It's all. Is he dating Taylor Swift?
He's not dating Taylor Swift.
I didn't think so either.
Daniel Ricciardo confirmed that for us, okay?
Oh, that's true. I trust Danny Rick, which we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
So Lance Stroll, P12, just a bad weekend for Lance Stroll. Though one of my other favorite parts that I didn't know until I got home, this is something I missed. See, I missed the driver radio, so I'll say that.
Gotcha. I was wondering if they those over speakers or anything.
So they had their own stadium commentators, which they did tell some nuggets of information that I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
I love when Alonso's watching the TV as he's
watching
driving.
Lance.
You know, you could tell like he was totally alone on track. Like he was no one. Red Bull was like 30 seconds ahead of him. Everybody else is like 10. So he's just by himself.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame him.
He's just cruising.
It's hilarious though. I mean, he's going 200 miles an hour.
I feel Lance did a good job.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. I'm just repeating myself, but it's fine. Don't sit on a straight. That's what I learned. I wasn't sitting on a straight. Sit at the end of a straight because those cars, dude, you can't tell which car went past you. If you're sitting down
on a straight.
Like it's like it's crazy. The speed they're going at. I mean, I know what it is, but like just in person is like, oh my gosh. You can sometimes tell which car it was, like which team it was. You got no shot at telling who it was unless you know the order. But like in practice, they switch around a bunch. So I was like, I think that was Verstappen. and especially when it comes to like the Haas, Alfa Romeo, Red Bull, it's like I don't know who that was. Yeah. And again, I was standing on the ground because we walked over there intentionally. Yeah. So that's my first like piece of advice if you're trying to pick a place to sit.
That's good to know.
Sit in a braking zone after a straight because you'll see the full speed and an overtake probably.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Anyway, so yeah, Stroll, weekend, pretty bad weekend.
Yeah.
Who do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about McLaren.
Okay, it was funny. I was going to say that.
Yeah. I feel like we always go in the same order actually, but it's fine.
I don't know how that happens.
It's just
instinct. Red Bull and Mercedes, whatever,
Yeah, we always do our top teams at least.
Who cares? Who cares? What like the people? They always go in the same order.
I mean, someone's gonna complain about it. I'm gonna talk about Lando, which I have DeVries as well, so I'm gonna talk about this. Turn one of lap one, DeVries collides into Lando Norris.
Yeah,
which once I saw that, I had already given up hope for McLaren this weekend, but it made me lose it a little bit more because I felt like I was like, he's gonna have some damage. I hope he doesn't retire. He didn't retire, thankfully, but I was like,
it wasn't his fault. Lando's fault. It was DeVries' fault.
It wasn't Lando. Yeah. DeVries went straight into the back of him after locking up after the lights out, and I was just like, come on, man.
Yeah, and yet every car finished.
That's the one thing I was shocked.
Dude, I cannot believe it. It was so hot. I cannot believe.
I know.
Dude, okay. I didn't know this until after I left. Only 14 times in F1 history has every car finished.
What?
I know.
14 times.
That's it. 14 races.
That's insane to think about.
That's it. There's, and it used to be 16. Now there's 23 races a year. That's less than one full year of races. Of all of this time. Isn't that crazy? And
That's
it was my first race, like just randomly.
Wow.
I thought
good race to be there.
I know. No way did I think it was going to finish this. It's a street track, but that was one thing they talked about resurfacing the track.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. They did such a good job. I rewatched the year before and I was like, dang, this track sucked compared to now. Yeah. And all the drivers seemed to like it too. So
that's good.
Anyway, McLaren.
Yeah, Lando Norris ended up finishing P17. So like I said, I really didn't have hopes for them, but it was shot down a little bit more when DeVries collided into him. But at least, like you said, at least he finished. So.
Well, Piastri finished P19. And basically the worst driver because I don't know what happened to Logan Sargent, and maybe you could talk about that real fast.
Yeah.
Do you know how what happened to him?
On the broadcast, they didn't cover it at all.
I know. I had no idea.
And so I had, like, even trying to watch back, I wasn't sure.
I have no idea either.
You know what I actually might do real quick?
I was there.
I actually
have no
might
idea.
pull it up on the driver cam and see if we can see anything.
That's a great idea. How did I not think of that?
I just thought about it now. So I'm gonna do that, but I can also tell you a little bit. So Logan Sargent did end up finishing in P20
At his home race.
Yeah. So he did have to pit on lap 3 for what we were talking about. He had some front wing damage, which I am going to research real quick and figure out what happened. If I can't even figure that out, I'm going to pull up his driver cam from the race.
Yeah. So I'll just say it was hilarious how far back he was. Like, I'm sorry, Logan. I'm sorry. But, like, the time that obviously there is a time he is behind, and it's like 35 seconds or whatever. He had a slow stop, and then it's like all the cars go by, and then I have time to sit down, take a drink of water, chit-chat with my dad for a minute, and then Logan comes by. And the best thing is we all started cheering for him, like, ironically, because we were all like, yeah, keep going, buddy. Like, oh, man. It was so bad. So, and while Dawson's looking for this, the one other thing I'll say is I want to amend my don't sit on the straight thing. There is, if you want to sit on the start-finish line, there is some potential. Like, if you get several restarts, that's worth it. If you like watching the grid walk, that's worth it. But don't sit on a back straight.
I want to talk about this, actually. While I'm looking at this, something that we can talk about besides the drivers. Well, it includes the drivers. Their introductions. Did you see that?
So
live?
I could see it live, but it was kind of hard to hear.
Was it on this? Did you more watch it on the screen?
Yeah, I could see it, and I ended up rewatching it. It was Akko on TV.
Yeah.
And there was several helicopters. I think Stefano flew over the race the entire time in a helicopter, just as a side.
Yeah.
So he was hovering above my section.
Yeah.
So it was kind of hard to hear. What's your opinion on it? I thought it was weird.
I thought it was weird too. It seemed the only person that did like it was Lewis Hamilton.
Well, yeah.
But
okay. Okay, what happened?
I think I found it. Well, it looked like he collided with.
Oh, he hit somebody.
Stroll. On I forgot what turn it is. It goes under the bridge. It's like that left, right, left.
15 through 17.
Yeah, it looks like there he Lance.
He hit
well,
Lance.
I mean. Yeah, he hit Lance. Lance had the space. It looks like it. Let me pull it. Let me find it again.
See, this is crazy. Like no one knows. Like,
there it goes. Yeah. Let me watch this one more time to make sure. It was on that last. Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to
it looks
F1
like he
TV.
goes straight into the back right of Lance Stroll's car and clips that left front wing.
Well, he needed a safety car bad. I thought he would get back in it, honestly, because I was expecting at least a safety car. Not the case. So, all right. Well, there you have it. That's what happened to Logan Sargent. Again, neither of us had any idea.
Nope.
His teammate. Oh wait, hold on. Well, we're kind of talking about McLaren.
Yeah.
I'll just talk about Alex Albon for a second.
Yeah.
P14. I mean, good for old Williams, but now is kind of like I expected him a little closer to the points. So I'm not saying he had a bad weekend. I'm just saying McLaren are in deep trouble. I think they are the worst team in the field. The points don't say that currently, but they're in P5 somehow. But they look
I mean, they've gone
terrible.
200% backwards compared to even last year.
Dude.
It's bad.
And all this fighting they did over Piastri last year.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's terrible. Like, it is just a sad... I didn't see a single McLaren fan there. Not a single person wearing orange. And I walked from my corner, which was turn 11, all the way to the stadium, which is a mile plus, and walked back. No papaya.
Oh, wow.
I know. Unless they were wearing something super weird that nobody.
Yeah.
So they're in trouble. Do you think McLaren will recover, or do you think they're going to have to make major changes? All right, if there was an abrupt end to that, that's because we have a ghost in the studio. The ghost of McLaren Podiums of the past. Because something made a noise in our studio, and we didn't know what it was because no one's here, so we got freaked out, and also just went around and got scared. So, anyway, thoughts on McLaren are
okay. Yeah,
can they recover?
Yeah, like I was saying, if any other team did this, if anybody's like CEO like that, I feel like there'd be massive changes.
Can you imagine if this was Mercedes? Like, just imagine.
Oh yeah,
dude, everybody would be dead.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the wrath of Toto.
The wrath of Toto.
But seriously, I don't know if it's. I mean, Zach Brown's the guy to blame. He's the head of the team, so
head of the company.
The buck stops with him, obviously. But I mean, it's. I say they're gonna have like 2 years of minimum of like getting back into swing. Is
Danny Rick like? I guess this is a good time. We can segue this also. Was Danny Rick to blame at all, or was it all McLaren or 50-50?
Listen, Daniel brought morale to the team.
This is true. They're
more than anybody on the grid would ever bring. And I think that there were some people at McLaren that were very upset about him leaving. Not, points wise, but I mean.
Did you see Lando Norris's interview after Q1 when he got out in Q1?
No.
Okay. This is the most like crazy, I was thinking of other words, crazy interview that I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. He looked like neurotic or something. I don't know what was going on. He gets up there and they say, "All right, Lando, so we're sorry you're out in Q1. How do you feel about this?" And he goes like, "Well, obviously we showed too much pace." I was like, what? I'm sure his PR rep is standing there with the microphone. Shut up.
Yep.
Shut up. Like, I was just like, whoa. And he just kept saying the most nonsense stuff. Look it up. I can't post it on this video. We'll get copyrighted. But look it up. Like, you can watch it later. It's like 3 minutes long. I was like, what is happening to this man? So anyway, speaking of Daniel Ricciardo, so there's back and forth news about Daniel Ricciardo today, the day that we're recording, because first of all, they're announced that Daniel Ricciardo is going to do a tire test in the RB19 at Silverstone. Cool. Okay. And I'm going to get to see him race. Let's go. Drive. And then he gets fitted for a seat at AlphaTauri, which is confirmed. And then people said, well, he got an ultimatum from... What's the guy's name? Dr. Marco. Don't like that.
Oh, De Vries got a...
No, yeah, De Vries gets an ultimatum. Thank you. Yeah, you clarified. Yeah. You have 3 races or you're bad. You're out.
You're bad.
And you know what? Like, that sounds very like a Red Bull thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's funny because...
I mean, look at the season they had Gasly and Albon.
Yeah, so it's funny. Well, this would be even crazier because this would be...
A rookie.
Yeah, not a rookie, but... Well, a rookie and... Albon was a rookie.
Rookie true.
And... a third driver moving up.
Yep.
They haven't done that yet. So, and, but I was just like, I don't know about this when I saw it. And then they come out and say it's fake. So what's your take? Do you think that Daniel Ricciardo is actually going to have a chance for an AlphaTauri seat, or do you think this is all just rumor?
I don't know. If Horner has anything to say about it, no.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Why do you think Horner just has his mind made up on it?
No, I don't think Horner is like holding a grudge on Daniel or anything. He obviously wouldn't have taken him as a reserve driver if he was. But earlier in the season, he said Daniel's just like, we're giving him space to get back to Daniel.
Yeah.
Like to get back to normal. Like he needs that confidence. He needs a step away. I don't think he's going to throw him back in, 5 races in?
Yeah, well, it'd
be 8 races in. I still don't think he would do that.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's driving a tire test for next year's tires. So I don't think so either, but I do think this is all leading up to something.
I do think that De Vries can have an ultimatum, but the thing that also doesn't make me think that is that it's AlphaTauri, not Red Bull.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, why would they move him?
Yeah.
And they're always talking about rebranding AlphaTauri and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Franz Tost is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I will say I think Daniel Ricciardo should keep the job he currently has forever. He's the best job ever.
Oh yeah.
He gets to drive around and film commercials. he went and hosted a pool party that cost $100 per person, by the way, because we thought about going, but it was too much money.
Mhm.
And my dad goes, I was like, wow, Daniel Ricciardo's gonna be at the party. That's pretty cool. My dad goes, what else does he have going on? I thought it was so funny.
My, that's a good one.
So my dad said Daniel Ricciardo thinks the party starts when he gets there. My dad's not the biggest Ricciardo fan.
Dude, I would have 100% went to that party.
If it was like 50, I would have thought about it.
No, I would have paid 100.
See, I had already paid all this money to drive down
That's
there.
fair.
And
That's
go to
fair.
Disney. My pocket is pretty light
That's
right
fair.
now.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then they tried to buy a $90 hat. They tried to get me to buy a $90 hat. And I was like, no.
No, thank you.
So
I mean, you have a pretty decent hat anyway.
yeah,
And you're waiting for that black one. I know you are.
dude, I'm never gonna find it. I spent a while,
Yeah.
longer than I care to admit, looking for this hat. I found one, but it's $90 plus $50 in shipping, and I'm like, I just can't justify. I can get 4 pieces of merch for that.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw people with pristine condition, one of these hats that I wanted there, and I was just like, I hate you, or sell it to me, whichever comes first. Yeah, I saw this couple that had the exact same outfit with that hat, both in pristine condition. I was like, these people have been fans for a while.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So let's go on to somebody else. I really want to talk about Haas. So how about you tell me about good old Nico's race?
This is one of the things I was talking about where, like, I wasn't expecting to see this, which was, like, Nico Hulkenberg up in, like, P6 or P7. He did have a big lockup in lap 8, which lost him I think 2 positions.
Right.
But he fought back and got some of those back. He was fighting for a good bit of the race. He held off Hamilton for, like you were saying, he was practicing that move. He was right behind Hulkenberg pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
So that was obviously that didn't hold up, and he ended up P15. So
yeah. I gotta say, this race reactivated my Haas delusion syndrome. I was talking such crap about them for like the first 2 days.
yeah,
And then they go and they get P4 in qualifying.
Yep.
And I was like, Haas is back. I was like, yes, let's go. And they looked great.
yeah,
Especially in person. One of the main things I could see in my turn is how much people were slipping. McLaren, it was basically like you compared everything to McLaren, basically. They looked good. Like Haas looked good.
yeah.
K-Mag P4 ended up in P10. It's kind of sad. I feel like they deserved more points than they got this weekend.
Yeah.
But they got a point. Also, as an aside, I want to listen to Gunther's book.
Oh yeah.
I heard. Now this came from a source that should not be named, but someone told me about something that's in this book, and they said that Gunther talks about getting approached by the Russian mob, and a black van pulls up next to him. This is a major spoiler. Probably should have said that already, but Russian van pulled up to him when they tried to get rid of that sponsor and threatened him, and he had to get away from them. When all that stuff happened with,
yeah.
I don't know if that's true, if that's in the book. This is totally just something I heard, but judging that it's called Surviving to Drive, I feel like it's got a pretty good shot of being in the book. So
Wow, that's insane.
mad
if that's
respect to
true.
Gunther.
Yeah.
Anyway, so speaking of De Vries, how was De Vries' weekend? You told us about him getting hit, but how did he finish?
Locked up in turn 1.
Or he hit somebody.
Hit Norris. Nothing really too special after that. Just finished his P18.
I have to say he's disappointed me.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he was the golden child rookie
I know.
coming into this season, and he's Logan Sargent hasn't really performed that well, but I feel like De Vries hasn't had a good moment. Logan's had in qualifying, obviously he got out of Q1, but he had that moment where he was this guy's at the lead of the pack.
Yeah. And
I feel like De Vries hasn't had a special moment yet.
Yeah, and DeVries looked great in his one drive last year. You know, he's
Yeah.
Formula E, Formula 2 champion.
Mhm.
You know, we're expecting all these great things. I've heard people say they thought he was arrogant coming in and that he needs some humbling. Maybe that's true. Maybe after a phase, you know, he'll be better. I don't know, but I'm very surprised. You know, I always said I thought he would be in a Mercedes seat one day, and I mean, obviously now that he's in the Red Bull family, I don't know, but you know, at this point, if Max got COVID or something, I'd pull Yuki. Which is funny because I think we were right about an AlphaTauri, because I remember I said Yuki might lose his seat to Daniel. I said at the beginning. I think we might be wrong. Right idea, wrong AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like Yuki's pulled it together a little bit.
Well, he got P11 at this race. Everybody's calling him Mr. Consistency because he's finished P11 or P12 every race so far. You know, fine.
For AlphaTauri, that's like,
they don't have a great car.
bad.
So, you know, I think they're in major need of something at AlphaTauri. I don't know what. Maybe this whole rebrand thing might re-spark them. I don't know, but Yuki looked pretty good, I gotta say. So, other than that, we always almost forget about Alfa Romeo, but I cannot this time because he got P10.
That's right.
And
Bottas did.
Yeah, Bottas did, and you know, P13 finish, but he made Q3. They just don't have race pace. That's just
Dude, I feel like at the beginning of the year they were so much quicker. Is that just me? Like
they were
I was
faster
seeing them
last year.
consistently higher in the leader.
I guess maybe
it's just maybe my brain's just gone whack. But
I think they just didn't have issues because at the beginning of last season they brought that camo car and it like wasn't done and all that stuff. Do you think Bottas gonna have a seat, like legit? Because I'm starting to think he's not gonna have a seat.
You think he wouldn't over Joe? Because like he's
what
finished higher than Joe.
What did
Joe finished P16.
Yeah, but I feel like Joe has been outperforming him until this point, so it's hard to say.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Last year too?
Not last year. I don't know.
I mean, pretty much every race. Well, not every race actually. Yeah, I mean,
it's a toss-up.
It's been back and forth. So I don't.
Voucher brings no sponsors though.
Yeah, that's true.
See, I think
didn't he like just actually land a sponsor?
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I think it's his own sponsor. I don't think.
It's like his thing. Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, I've had this theory that Mick Schumacher is going to be their guy with the future Audi. They already have this like initiative to get German drivers in there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I haven't really given that much thought, to be honest. So I'm not sure.
I hadn't either until this weekend, and because we were kind of like, oh, Bottas isn't doing that well this year. And then he had a good weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So anything else notable about Joe Guan Yu's race? He was honestly didn't pay that much attention.
They didn't really mention him, show him much at all during this race. It was nothing too crazy.
And finally, a team that I thought had a pretty good weekend was Alpine. So how was Ocon's race?
It was very good, I feel like, for him.
Yeah.
He was like P4 and P5 for like at least half the race.
Yeah.
Which was insane to think about, considering of what's been happening the past few weeks with Alpine. Ended P9, so it was a little disappointing, but like, I don't know.
They gave him a tough strategy too, so
staying P4 and P5 for that long for Alpine, which has had like I said, a pretty rough season so far, I feel like is a good sign.
Yeah, and Pierre Gasly got P8, so the double points finish. There's this like war going on in Alpine right now, though. That I forget his name. He's the CEO. It's like a Laurent something. But so he says that the team isn't performing that well.
Laurent Rossi or Rossi.
Otmar comes out and says, well, I don't care what I hear in the media. It only matters what I'm told in person.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, I think he wants Otmar out. And then today we found out they tried to get Mattia when he left Ferrari, which is why he got his gardening leave, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on over there. They're talking about, we got to be P3. We got to be P3. It's like, I think maybe Aston has messed them up, and like Aston being so good.
Yeah.
But, they're battling close with McLaren before, and now they're killing them. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, well, I think they were just expecting to be P3 by now.
Yeah,
And after last season, I mean, even after last season, I really wouldn't have expected them to be. So, I mean,
I just don't think they're ever going to get past P4, man.
yeah,
Like,
it's going to take a lot for them if they ever did.
you're telling me that Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull, like one of those have to drop, basically. I mean, and obviously Ferrari is, but then Aston jumped them. So
Yeah.
with these new regulations on wind tunnel time, Aston has a crap ton of wind tunnel time. I don't think there's any chance that it's going to happen. I mean, like I said, McLaren's already taken the L for them. So, like, if they can't do it now, they're never going to be able to do it, which is maybe what they think. So, and one of the last things that I want to say about the race is about McLaren's strategy, which I totally just forgot to mention. Why did they start on soft tires?
Yeah, I don't. If you see everybody else on mediums
In hards.
or hards, any would have been fine.
Dude, I knew immediately. They must have been expecting a safety car or something, because I knew immediately this is bad.
I was, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I was too. But, like, still, you're starting in the back on softs? Nobody does that. Like, it's not like it's Max's car and that, like, you know, they could have done a strategy where they gave Max softs and he tries to get ahead of the field immediately.
Yeah.
But still, that would have been
That's
crazy.
not going to happen in McLaren.
Yeah,
They know.
no.
They should know that.
They can't overtake them if they're literally have like a slipstream and extra DRS right now. So I don't know if they made any overtime at this race overtakes, like legit.
No, they dropped, or it was all rough.
Dude, what a terrible strategy. Terrible strategy. So, all right, let's do winner and loser. What was your winner of this race?
Winner is this is a tough one because like I want to give it to Red Bull, like Max probably,
Yeah.
but like I don't know, like I feel like Alpine deserves a win.
Yeah.
For their race.
I think so
they
too.
Both showed up, so I'm gonna give it to Alpine.
All right, what about loser? I feel like every race we could just record us saying Red Bull, McLaren for like.
Yeah. Well, McLaren, I mean, they're the obvious ones, so we're gonna give it to someone that I feel like deserves a loser.
Yeah.
Maybe actually, you know what? I'm giving it to De Vries.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of De Vries haters out there too.
Yeah,
at this
I don't
point,
hate
so.
De Vries. It's just like I mean, everybody probably did, but I just expected more. By now. Not even wins or podiums or like.
Just consistent, decent performance.
Yeah.
Not outperforming Yuki's.
But I mean,
is what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I'm going to say this, but I do understand that in Formula One, like you have to be confident and believe that you can be a world champion in whatever car you are driving.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's under a lot of pressure coming in, being like I said, that golden child of Formula One or Formula 2.
Yeah, and Formula E as well.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know,
but still, you know, to be in a Formula One car, you gotta have confidence. But
so next race is Imola. That's a decent track to show your own personal performance, especially in qualifying. Then Monaco. So Monaco, I think is going to shape out to be an interesting race this year.
I am so excited for Monaco.
I think it might be the only race that anybody can beat Red Bull, and despite any, especially I think Alonso could win.
Let's see Checo crash again. Get the win, baby.
Leclerc. No,
imagine Leclerc crashes again.
Dude, oh man, I'm gonna have to move further away from my fans at that point. I think I'm gonna early state that I think Alonso is gonna win Monaco.
Ooh, you know that's actually not a bad prediction.
Think about it, it's super twisty, and they are saying that they get all their advantages in the twists.
Yeah.
So I feel like that'd be a good chance. I think that might be one of Lewis Hamilton's only chances to win a race this year as well, unless this car is magic, which we'll see.
Yeah. So wait, the upgrades are coming this week, right?
Next Imola.
Imola.
Imola. So, but again, they've even said we don't really know yet. It could be a step back, but it's a step in the right direction.
At this point, they're just testing.
Yes.
And they have to be.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to figure it out now. So next year they're back at top.
It's basically like they're bringing a half B spec of a car.
Yep.
And then they're like, all right, if this is a good baseline, which might be slower because they figured out, how to get this car in a good setup range and stuff. then they know, okay, we can build on this. And hopefully by the end of the season, it's looking a little better. Anyway, my winner and loser, I'm going to give my loser to Logan Sargent. I think he just had a bad weekend.
Yeah, this was a tough one for him.
You know, they said this is his first professional race in America, which is just crazy because he's an American.
Yeah.
So he's done.
Well, I mean, there's nothing here.
Yeah, but you would have thought F2 something.
We got NASCAR, brother.
Yeah, bro. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw someone quote say 2 NASCAR geniuses commenting on Formula One.
I don't think I've ever seen a full NASCAR race in my entire life.
Bro, I watched a compilation and it was just like, so in Formula One, it's like, all right, so we got these strategies, we got these tires, it's this compound. All right, we're gonna do it like this and this and this and this strategy. And then I cut to NASCAR. The first thing it says is, well, you know, sometimes they might run out of fuel just right in the middle of the road. That's the first thing they said. And I was just like,
oh my god.
I was just like, yeah, Formula One's the superior sport.
Yeah, obviously. Oh
anyway, loser Logan Sargent. Winner, I could give it to Max. I could give it to Lewis. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna give it to Alonso, who I think finally I'm giving it to him because we gave him a lot of crap for going to this team, and he's made a lot of bad career moves. And whether it was an accident or on purpose, I think this man is just winning this year. He seems super calm. He's just having fun. I'm sure this Taylor Swift rumor is like the best thing that's ever happened to him.
Oh yeah.
Other than when they purposely threw a race in 2008 that I talked about, which they mentioned. Oh, okay. This is my actual last thing.
Yeah.
Felipe Massa and Nelson Piquet Jr., which if you don't know the history, go back and listen to a couple episodes ago where I'd explained all this. Or it's on TikTok as well. I explained it. Nelson Piquet Jr. is the one that crashed intentionally.
Yeah.
They saw each other for the first time in like 10 years at the race.
Oh yeah.
And they just kind of looked at each other and went, and like they went opposite directions because Massa's suing right now.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. So overall, one of the best experiences I've ever had going to this race, despite this fact that I took approximately 80,000 steps in 3 days. Not a joke. And I lost, even though I was eating absolute crap, I lost 2 pounds.
Heck yeah.
And I hope that someone will get us media passes so we can go to Austin. So help us out.
That'd be awesome.
So that's our goal, is to go to Austin this year. So that'd be, and every year for free.
Oh yeah.
Except for paying for hotels, which would be worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, that's about it. Anything left to add?
I don't think so.
Wait, I remembered something.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
The movie. We talked about it already.
Oh yeah.
There's more details about the movie. So, it's going to be closer to an F2 car that Brad Pitt's going to drive. If you want to know more details about this, listen to our last episode. I'm just going to pick up from where we left off. And he's going to drive during the weekend, but not during events.
Okay.
So, and they said they're going to do CGI to make it look like it's an F1 car, which I find interesting. It's probably just going to be some of the body work.
Yeah.
But homie's been driving the French Grand Prix circuit, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Paul Ricard, love that
yeah.
track. Even though they got rid of it, and apparently they're going to meet and renegotiate this year, so which is good.
Oh wow.
But he's been practicing out there in a real car.
Wow.
So, homie's ready to go.
Heck
so
yeah.
just imagine another 2 months of that. It's funny because we watch the cars go fast, and my dad goes, "Brad Pitt can't drive this," but I think he can.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm excited to see that. I think that movie's going to be awesome. So, that is actually it. That's all of my notes. So,
cool.
Anything left to add?
That's it. I think you covered everything. This was a fun episode.
Yeah, I feel like we did good. We did good, despite getting scared.
Yeah, we have a ghost.
We do.
We got to figure that out.
The ghost of McLaren's Podiums best.
Yeah. So join us in saying goodbye, Ghost. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Hey, that's so weird. It sounds like Nick. That's so weird, just like turning away. All right, anyway. All right, that's been it. Follow us on all the socials at the Pitwall Pod, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Goodbye.